this computer. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our fourth iRescue Lunch and Learn. I am Julie Kenner, VP of Operations for Table to Table. Table to Table is a food rescue in northern New Jersey. We were founded 23 years ago. We have 6 refrigerated trucks out on the road every day, picking up food that would be wasted and delivering it to places feeding the hungry. You would think I could say that a lot easier after doing this for so many years. In spring of 2021, with the help of Food Rescue Hero and the support of Tracy Zur in Bergen County and the Russ Berry Foundation, we launched the Table to Table iRescue app. This incredible app allows volunteers to claim rescues locally and deliver what was donated to local partners feeding the hungry. This year alone, our volunteers have picked up over 500,000 pounds of beautiful fresh food that would have been wasted. We are so proud of our amazing truck drivers who are out in the rain, the snow, days like today, or shine, and completely thankful for and in awe of our volunteers that do the same. We started this Lunch and Learn for our volunteers to learn about why we do what we do and why we ask our volunteers to volunteer. We have introduced food donors, partner recipients, and an incredible supporter volunteer. Today's a little different. Today, I want you to meet our executive director, Ilene Isaacs. Ilene has been with Table to Table since almost the beginning. She has managed us through hurricanes, snowstorms, floods. She has managed us with the utmost of professionalism, while still being true to our partner agencies, our donors, our board, and our staff. Personally, she has taught me so much that if I were to start listing everything, we would have to call this Dinner and Learn. Ilene is retiring at the end of the month, and while we are so thrilled for her and excited to work with our new executive director, Denise Anderson, Ilene will be truly missed. So thank you so much for joining me here. When I asked you to do this a few months ago, I didn't realize it was going to sneak up so quickly. All of a sudden, I looked at the date and I was like, oh, how did this happen? So how are you?
Good, I'm good, and thank you, Julie. Thank you for asking me to do this. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Appreciate it, and the learning went 2 ways. I never wanted to walk into a kitchen until you showed me that you could do it, and nobody's going to bite your head off.
That's right. That's right. Well, they may bite your head off. You never know. It depends on the kitchen.
But I know there've been a couple of really terrific lunch and learns before this one that I hope everybody has had a chance to listen to. So I really am honored to be in the group of interviewees. So thank you.
Absolutely. So let's get right to my questions. So tell me, what did you do before stumbling upon Table to Table?
Well, Julie, my entire life has been spent in the not-for-profit social service world. It's what I knew I wanted to do before I went to college. So that's, where my degrees are in school psychology as it is, and have worked since that time, a long time ago, in a variety of social service settings. People with disabilities, young parents learning parenting skills, senior adults, helping newly arrived immigrants to learn how to adjust to this crazy world we have here. Truly any vulnerable population that needed help. I had an interest in working with, both through program development and, pretty quickly on administration and leadership.
Mm-hmm. And where do you think you started this? Obviously early on, college, where do you think you developed this passion or this need almost, and it is a passion for service and for not-for-profits?
I think a lot of it is generational. I'm a baby boomer, and coming into my teens in the late 60s, early 70s, there was just so much need that was apparent, and it was as commonplace as going into finance or IT today. And a lot also had to do, that partnering with my upbringing and my family, and the belief that we do need to heal the world and help one another, and do what we can in that area, and that's truly the measure of success.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So when you started to interview, when it was time, I know you moved to New Jersey and then started interviewing, what about Table to Table stood out?
First of all, the mission of the organization, because in all the work that I had done leading up to that point, one thing was so strikingly clear: when a person themselves or a parent who had children at home were worried about where the next meal was coming from, you could offer and develop the most beautiful program with the most impactful goals, and the hope was always for wonderful results. But if somebody's hungry, they can't concentrate, they can't possibly benefit from the programming. So I always felt that at some point I needed to take a little shift from the social service and go into human service, and address the basic need of hunger. And in interviewing for Table to Table, and my interview was with the founder, Clarence Salatopoulos, who made it so clear that this was a special organization, that it was an organization that put excellence first, and that in everything that we do and would proceed to do, excellence would be at the core. That although small, it was an impactful organization. At the time that I came on board, 2 million meals, which seemed like an incredible number.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a difference
folk,
now. Yeah,
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 focus rather than, getting into different programs and areas and geographies, that there was just a focus on the 4 counties and going as deeply into those 4 counties as we could. And the community focus, the belief that we as a community, especially because of the community that we live in, where there's such affluence, bordering on such need, that we can help one another, that as a group we can come together. We don't need government funding. We don't need an umbrella organization. Just as our own group, we can work together with other members of our community and feed people, a pretty basic thing. So all those things made me fall in love with Table to Table. And then as I was on my way home from the interview, a Table to Table truck was stopped next to me at the light. So
that's
head and
a sign.
heart said, this is the place.
That's definitely a sign. Excuse me. So, it's funny. I was just at an event for the Fort Lee Rotary on Saturday night, and there, the Rotary is all about service and giving back and everything they can do. And I said something very similar. Is that, I said we were founded on the idea that community helps community, and neighbors will step up and help neighbors when in need. And that was something that impressed me as well about Table to Table, and continues to daily. That while at times it probably would be easier for us to take government funding, um, it just makes sense that we don't need to. We may struggle a little bit, and we're small but mighty, but what we've been able to accomplish without is truly impressive. So during your time with Table to Table, did you set any goals? And I don't mean like, our pound goals or our regular goals, but any maybe more personal goals. And then what were they? And did you reach them?
Yeah, every day starts with a goal. Certainly, every year starts with them. So, clearly at first it was, we're going to increase the number of people that are fed and the amount of food that we bring to them and the type of food that we bring to them. Continually increasing that. Um, but um, but important to me was that we really be able to establish table to table as, the experts in food rescue, the people who can do it the best, who can get the most and the best of the fresh, beautiful food that's out there. But then the other side of the goal, to make sure that we're partnering with organizations that then will take the food and utilize it to nourish people, and that's clearly a primary goal, but also to be able to do other things with that food, either as a way to bring people in so that other services could be provided for them, or to attract different populations to come in. Julie, you were instrumental in helping to make that happen. But that was a major goal. And again, the nuance of it is important because we never lost our focus, or table to table's focus, on finding the food, find it, make sure it's the most beautiful, fresh food as possible, and safely deliver it. But at the same time, we upped our game in who we were working with and how many different people and what programming could be brought to them, so that we really had a continuum of service.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we definitely have achieved that over the years that I personally have been with Table to Table. The amount of pounds, the everything. It just astounds me sometimes. I remember when it was just, you, Claire, and me, like that was it. And our drivers and a couple of trucks. I mean, it was to look around the office now and to see what has been created. It does amaze me every once in a while. I take a step back and I'm like, whew, look around, look at all these people here, and look at all this. It's a little crazy. Um, so out of everything that was accomplished during your time at Table to Table, what are you truly most proud of?
You know, I'm proud. I'm going to speak generally and then specifically. Generally, I'm so proud of the relationships, because that's what Table to Table is all about. It's the relationships with the food donors, with the recipient organizations, with the financial donors, with and I think that Table to Table is good at it. I think that everyone at Table to Table believes that each relationship that we have is important. Each one, without each one of them, we could not do what we do.
Sure.
And there's a respect and an appreciation and a collegiality where that's appropriate, that we everybody takes seriously, and I think that it shows. So, kind of on the general level, it's something that I feel really, really proud of. Um, but then to get to the specifics, being an old program person, I love the fact, and, referencing back to, a question you asked before, I love the fact that we have been able to see how this food has benefited people and specific populations in different ways, such as through the fresh produce markets, families and single parent families and populations that are newly arrived to the United States and to New Jersey. I love the grandparents raising grandchildren program. The fact that, we were able through our work to see that this was a population that needed that had so many great needs, and that through the food and using that as a catalyst, we could bring grandparents in, working with our partners. Um, the school hubs, something that you really were instrumental in forming. The fact that students and teachers and children and parents became involved in the food distribution and the other benefits that came from that, that combination. So I really, I just seeing all those different groups being helped in a variety of ways. And now the app program, which not only is helping small agencies that hadn't been, perhaps we couldn't service before, but also the volunteers who were coming in for 20 years that I'm here. Throughout the year, people call, they want to be involved, they want to do something, they want to be directly involved with the food. And, we never had an opportunity for them to get involved with the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
And now they can. So, just proud of those different things, and proud that we have a team and an organization that allows for these things to come up, be developed, be brought to fruition. That if something's a good idea, we can explore it, we can meld it a little bit, we can find the funding, and funders believe in us enough to do so, and then can carry it through.
Yeah. And where do you see Table to Table going in the future? And that's kind of a tough one, but where do you see?
It is a tough question. In my mind, Table to Table is going to be around for a very long time, outlasting all of us. And on one hand, you could say, well, that's great. On the other hand, it's not such great news. We'll be around because we're needed. I love
Absolutely.
to say that there's a cure for hunger, but I don't think it's going to be in any one of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of attention has been given of late to food rescue as people recognize the need for people to eat, but as well the damaging effects of food waste on our environment, and the recognition that by rescuing food, we can feed people too and help the environment. So I think Table to Table is going to be here. I think, though, that although a lot of people, food rescue and environmental food waste is, the big thing right now, and a lot
Yeah.
of different, people and places have gotten involved in it. Um, just based on history, my guess is that, many will fall out and they'll be the next big thing. One thing I know, Table to Table is going to be there, will continue to be there, will continue to be there, do the job, do it right, and innovate. And shift and pivot, as we like to say, to meet whatever need is there, and whatever way it needs to be filled. I know we have the opportunity, the talent, the passion, and the wherewithal to continue to grow and to thrive.
So tell me a memory that you're going to carry with you. And it's funny, silly, horrible. I don't know. And maybe don't tell the horrible one, but a memory that is something that you're going to carry with you.
Obviously, lots of memories over the years, but one that I know I've shared with you before, Julie, but is one that really impacted both my husband and I so greatly. We were having breakfast one Sunday morning in Bergen County on a pouring, rainy, miserable day with my sister and her husband. And I had my Table to Table phone with me. Call comes in. It's Whole Foods Paramus. that they lost all their electricity and they have all of this food, and come send drivers and pick it up. Well, Sunday morning, I tried the drivers. At the time, we didn't have as many as we had now. One, it was his anniversary, and the whole family was going out for a big anniversary party. But the diner we were at was literally next to where our trucks were parked. And I looked at my sister and husband. I looked at my husband, and my husband said, "I'll drive the truck. Let's get the keys."
Yeah.
And the driver came, met me at the lot, handed over the keys to the truck, and my husband and I went off to Whole Foods. And in pouring rain and darkness, just started filling up the truck. I taught him the important lesson of, pass by the bread, the old buffet rule, no bread, no.
That's right. That's right.
Go to the freezer for go to the meat department, go in, and we loaded up the truck. And I remember calling you, Julie, okay, now where are we going to bring it? It was open on this rainy Sunday. And there was a shelter for women who were victims of domestic violence and their children up in Ringwood. And we drove up to Ringwood and brought the food. And the vision of, and I had said to you, Julie, we're tired. We've been at this. We're soaking wet. Make sure there are volunteers there. And you sure did it, because when we pulled up, there were literally 3-year-old children waiting to grab the food. And we, my husband and I talk about it all the time. We remember just that vision of people so excited and grateful to be receiving this food, that they were standing out in the rain, waiting to get it. Children, old, women, older women, and just waiting for the food, just getting it off the truck, getting it to them, watching a 5-year-old cradling a couple of dozen eggs in their hands. It is something that if there was anything to bring home the importance of the work that we're doing, that was it.
For sure. And our drivers see things like that, all the time, and it definitely sticks with you. So I get that's something that you'll definitely take with you. So besides doing rescues for the Table to Table iRescue app, what else do you plan on doing? I spoke to Claire a few weeks ago, our founding president, or our founder, and she had to get off the phone with me because she was delivering for Meals on Wheels. And I said, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "Claire, that just amazed me, just so impressive." And she's like, "Once you have the bug, you can't get rid of it," and so I'm curious. So besides doing rescues for the Table to Table iRescue app, is there something else that you might be interested in volunteering for?
Yeah, well, first of all, I know that the iRescue app, it's so frustrating to me having the app on my phone now, and having had the opportunity to do one or two. And, so many pop up during the course of the day. And I keep thinking, I'd love to be doing that instead of working on this budget here or preparing. So certainly, that's one of the things on the horizon. And yes, you do now have me recorded and on film in front of everybody that I'll be doing it. Somehow I think that could have been the reason for the invitation today.
Possibly.
But aside from that, again, going back to how we started, generationally, I've never met a cause that I didn't kind of like. Right. But I want to be thoughtful about it. Clearly, volunteering is going to be an important part of my next chapter. There are a lot of issues facing our society today. and a lot of places that I think there is help needed. So it's going to be a little bit of a journey for me. I promised myself and my family that before signing up for a million different things, I would take a little time and think about it. So that is what I'll be doing. But maybe I can come back to a year anniversary and talk about all the app I
That's
rescues
right.
that I've
That's right.
done, and some of the things out in
Yeah.
the world.
That's a great idea. And if you need any suggestions, I happen to know about 250 partner agencies that would love to have you volunteer. So just reach out to me. I'll help you with that.
Thank you, Julie. You know, all through the years, I've always been able to count on you.
That's right. Well, thank you, Eileen. This has been really fun, and you are certainly going to be missed. It is going to be very different coming into the office, and you know, we are excited to work with Denise. We're excited. You know, change can be challenging for some. It's I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be something different. I look forward to seeing what's next with Table to Table, and I certainly look forward to seeing what's next for you on the volunteering side. So thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming today.
my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you
Julie.
everybody for watching, and have a great week. And you know, download the app Table to Table I Rescue. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. I'm Jay Kinner at table2table.org, or to Karen Pora, KPORRA at table2table.org. And either of us can help you. So have a great week, everybody. And thank you again, Eileen.
Thank you, Julie.